Nike came out with a shoe called the Satan shoe. I know what you're thinking, that they've had some sort of plausible deniability about this. Yeah, no. Lil Nas X came out with a Satan shoe. And you know what's going on, right? You know exactly where we're headed. They're putting the devil in front of you. That's right. They're putting the devil in front of you. You know why? So you'd fall in love with him. This is the Meltdown.
The end is closer than we think.
It is by my hand.
Are you ready?
You arrive.
He calls all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads.
The end of days countdown has started.
For ourselves and for future generations, a new world order.
This is the Meltdown.
Christ was coming back to set up his kingdom.
The end of all things. And here is your host, Darien Anthony.
People have been in love with the devil for centuries. This isn't new. And this is the way things are going to go. Well, how? Things are going to get worse. Things are going to get darker. Things are going to get more malicious. Things are going to get more dangerous. Things are going to get more strange. They're going to get weird. They're not going to go back to normal. We're not going back to normal. Anybody who's telling you that doesn't know, doesn't do their research. We're not going back to normal. This is where we're headed. This is where the Bible said we were going to be headed. Let's get into some news. So you know what's going on with Lil Nas X, the rapper, pop star, who came out with the Satan sneakers. ProphecyNewsWatch.com reports 5 takeaways for the new Satan sneakers. Well, let's go through this. So the announcement of rapper Lil Nas X's limited edition Satan sneakers has created a media firestorm, which was the most obvious goal of the campaign, obviously. I mean, they know this. After all, how much money can be made from a run of 666 sneakers? All allegedly featuring a drop of human blood. That's right, it had blood in it. Whose? We don't know. Yet there are practical takeaways from this publicity stunt. So, something to think about is that the core audience of this rapper are children. So children are Lil Nas's core listeners. They listen to his music. Well, first, while the sneakers will be here today and gone tomorrow, most don't underestimate Lil Nas X's influence on children in general. Rather, as reported by NPR on January 5th, children are his quote-unquote core audience right now. Quote, and by children, NPR meant little children. That's right. I'm talking about like little children who watch Sesame Street. The rapper recently appeared on Sesame Street and performed with Muppets. I'm talking about elementary school children. So the NPR article references a surprise Lil Nas X did at Landry Elementary School in Ohio in 2019. In footage from that day, the rapper enters a gym full of children who start screaming at the top of their lungs. Some grasp their heads in disbelief. Others jump up and down. Some are so overwhelmed by him being there, they just stand there, just slack-jawed. They have no idea, can't believe it. They love this guy. So his Grammy Award-winning song, Old Town Road, which is terrible, by the way, has been a massive hit with the elementary school set. Yet, as he's boasted in a tweet, I literally, and I quote, I literally sing about lean and adultery in Old Town Road. You decided to let your children listen. Blame yourself. End quote. So the song Lean refers to an illicit substance made with codeine, cough syrup, soda, and hard candy. It's highly addictive and potentially damaging to the body. So to repeat, while the sneakers themselves are a momentary publicity grab, Lil Nas X's popularity with little children is deeply alarming and growing, by the way. So what are the parents thinking? You know, would you let your kids listen to Lil Nas X? I doubt it. I wouldn't. I highly advise against it. This is not something you want your children listening to or be exposed to. And we've talked about this on the Meltdown, that it's only going to get worse. So what are we going to do? How is this going to play out? I mean, it's not going to get better. I mean, there's going to be a point in time where Lil Nas X is going to be one of many, many, many stars that are going to do this, because they're going to realize, hey, if we promote, this, we can make ridiculous amounts of money. And the devil laughs. While they're doing this, the devil's laughing. Because they're making ridiculous amounts of money while they're selling their souls. And so this is really important to the Meltdown, because the Meltdown is about the end. And Bible prophecy talks about this, that in the end, many people the devil will be out. Things like this will grow. The love of many will grow cold. That's why we see so much violence. But when I saw this, I mean, most people can't believe it. Most Christian evangelicals are just flat out, they can't understand why. But, I mean, no, they do understand why. It's just incredible to see that kind of blatant Satanism in the world right now. And it's playing out in a major way. So what are we doing on this? So we talked about this on the 5 points on this particular article on Prophecy News Watch, the takeaways on the Satan shoot here. So the first one is that the kids are his main audience. And second, we should concentrate on the real satanic evil in the world around us. I'm talking about the sexual trafficking of children, about rape and murder, about hatred and violence and injustice, especially about abortion and the destruction of the family. This is something that's been happening more and more. And about deception and spiritual delusion, which is growing. So, while it is understandable that the sneaker announcement has generated attention, we should keep our focus where it belongs, namely on combating the real work of the devil in our society. So don't be distracted by those who garner attention by sensationalizing Satan, because that's what they're doing. They sensationalize evil to make money. And we know why. Third, in keeping with the previous point, there will always be something sensational related to Satan. I mean, where it is a movie like Rosemary's Baby in 1968, or the so-called Blasphemy Challenge of 2007, The Exorcist, satanic songs, for instance, if I may add, something satanic will always be in the headlines in some way. So most recently, Satanists made national headlines with their legal challenges to Texas abortion laws, claiming that these laws are an infringement of their religious rights. And that's because and I quote, the temple's members consider abortion a ritualistic process, according to a co-founder and spokesman, Lucian Greaves. So the ritual is meant to take the shame and guilt away from the person receiving the procedure and affirming their choice. The choice to kill. The state regulations disrupt this ritual, Greaves said. So the reality is that these occasional sensational stories will always be here. So let them be a reminder of the devil's real presence in society, rather than a distraction from his evil agenda. Fourth, we should pray for Lil Nas X's soul. That's right. Lil Nas X needs Jesus. So according to Vox.com, Lil Nas X put human blood into 666 Nikes because being queer means embracing our villainy. And he has been open about feeling spiritually rejected and hated because of his gayness, pushing back aggressively with his new satanic association, which he openly admits, flaunts, and promotes. But just as Paul could say about his previous lifestyle as a blasphemer of God and a persecutor and even a murderer of Jewish followers of Jesus, perhaps this rapper is also operating in ignorance and unbelief. So if you look at 1 Timothy 1:13, perhaps he too does not fully realize the depth of his own depravity. We're talking about Lil Nas X. In any case, so let this publicity stunt be used as a call for us to pray for his soul. And that's the way it should be. We should be praying for him, so that may God bring him to repentance and a new life through the cross, which is what Jesus intends and offers us. So Jesus defeated Satan and gave us authority to trample the enemy. And lastly, in Jesus, Satan is under our feet. That's right. So we're already conquerors, and you've heard this before. Remarkably, these sneakers have a scripture reference inscribed on them, namely Luke 10:18, where Jesus states that he saw Satan fall like lightning from heaven. So why proclaim this truth on satanic sneakers? Why remind the world that he is fallen and defeated? Why point to a verse that is followed by Jesus telling his disciples, and I quote, I have given you authority to trample on snakes and scorpions and to overcome all power of the enemy. Nothing will harm you. I can't explain the logic behind it, and it's hard to understand. It's partially surprising and unsurprising, if I may add. But I can affirm that the truth of what is written. These things were going to happen. Jesus predicted it. Now, through the cross and resurrection, we have authority over Satan and his demons. Yet he and they are under our feet, fallen from heaven indeed. So, let's exercise that authority in Jesus, in his name, and give the enemy of our souls no place in our lives. Let's go out into the world, and in that same authority, setting the captives free. Now, this would be an opportune time. Write me, let me know what you think. It's surprising yet sad because he does need Jesus. It's pretty incredible how things are moving, things are changing. You can find us on Twitter. You can find us on Instagram. Wherever you're listening. If you're listening on Spotify, on iTunes, if you're across the world, find us. Give us a like, follow us. Click that follow button. Let's grow the Meltdown. If you have some end times news that are unfolding right now in front of you, as you can see from your country, send us an email. let us know. You can find us easily on Facebook at the Meltdown Podcast with Darien and Anthony. I'll give you a couple of shout outs here. I'm super excited. The Johnny Brew Show. He's a great friend of mine. He's an unbelievable man of God. And he's moving things. And he's growing things. So check him out. The Johnny Brew Show. The podcast. It's very good. I'll have him on pretty soon as a guest. I'm really excited about the things that are happening for the podcast as we're growing. The numbers are getting bigger and bigger slowly. Thank you so much for listening. Make sure that, you stay safe out there. It's up to you to get the vaccine. I'm not going to tell you what to do. However, it is a preparation. There are preparing us. So, for all your end times news, prophecy, Bible, you can find it here at the Meltdown Podcast. My name is Darien Anthony. Make sure you subscribe, like, share. Thank you so much for listening. See you next week.